Hi, I'm Vicky Loughlin and I'm here with John Sutton, and he's going to take us through Class Comm. Now, on first look, it looks quite a familiar setup.
It is familiar, but we hope it's familiar anyway, because we've used the format of Outlook, Microsoft Outlook, which you would normally use for email, but we've used the layout of the screen and built our own software around that. So it's familiar and comfortable to the user right from the word go.
So if we were now in front of a classroom of students, how do we actually set off and get this thing going?
Right, so on the screen at the moment we have a folder up here that says resources, and inside there I've created my content. I can get the content in three different ways. I can either make it myself, or I can use what comes with the system, because we do supply a range of ready-made content with the system when you buy it, both for primary and secondary. Or you can buy further additional content from us it's called Genie Gold, and you can buy those as a set of questions and import them in. So there's three ways of getting your content there. I choose my content here on the left hand side, and you can see that then displays for me the questions that I'm now going to present to my class or my audience, and away I go. So down on the left hand side here I've got various buttons here, and I'm now going to go to the one that says presentation on there. As you can see, this takes me to another screen where we've got everything that we need to do on one screen there. So you can see on the left hand side here we've got all our content, and on here I've got to decide the reason really why I'm presenting this to you, my audience. Am I just reviewing it? Am I recording it? Or am I just going to show you the questions but not actually record anything? I'm just doing it as a survey. And then I've got, do I want you to log in with an ID number? Am I only going to give you one chance to answer? Am I going to enable you to answer straight away, or I'm going to make you pause and think about it first?
Because all of the students will have one of these handsets,
They will, yes.
Now, these handsets, are they on all the time?
No, you can set the standby time on that, and that's what this option here is for. So I can drop this down and I can choose the amount of time that I want those handsets to stay on for before they automatically switch off. But it's not a problem if they do that, because I, as a teacher, might want to stop and talk about a question. The handsets might switch themselves off, and then they will just, once you press that button, they'll kick it back in automatically and pick up from where they left off.
Because so environmentally as well, these are rechargeable batteries now, so really,
yes,
with having that and having the standby, you should get more life from the batteries.
You certainly should, yeah, definitely, yes. We've got a recharger unit which plugs into the base there, so that you can just plug that straight in and charge the battery up at any point if you need to. There's also an indicator on the handset itself, so that you can see exactly when the handset needs to be recharged. Going back to the screen then, what we've got is we can control the pace using a timer if we want to. So if I want to really put you under pressure, I can put a time on and countdown timer and say you've only got 30 seconds left, or whatever it might be. And that could be different for every slide that I present to you. Not the same amount, 30 seconds for every slide, but I could have 30 seconds for the first one, 2 minutes for the second one, because it's a very complicated question, and so on and so forth.
And is that really giving everybody sort of a level starting point as well to give an answer from? Because I can imagine if you have one of these on your desk, and I'm not saying as a teacher, you know, obviously you would have my undivided attention, but, you know, to push buttons and have a bit of a play is just naturally what people do.
It is, yes. That's why we've built in the auto response function, which means that I can have control with my teacher handset on here. So as soon as the question is presented, you can't actually answer anything until I press the green button. We've built that as a functionality inside the software, because we felt it was important, like you say, that students might be sitting there and, you know, I might not be very quick at reading, so I need to just spend a bit of time to read that carefully and really think about that question before I give a considered response to it, rather than just, oh, I need to answer as fast as I possibly can, otherwise I'm going to get left behind. And so really it's not giving that student you know, the best chance to answer correctly.
Have you found that, I mean, you were in the teaching profession for years, that actually to give students that level starting point is the fairest way? Oh,
definitely, yes. Let's give everybody a fair chance to answer. Let's read it to them. Let's make sure they all understand the question before they can actually give a considered response to it. Definitely, yeah, we want to be able to do that.
Now, I see down here as well, we've got the student name register.
Yes, yeah, so we've got classes built into the master list, and we pull them down and put them into classes, all the student data. And then on the right hand side there, as you can see, you've got these ticks here. Now I can take those ticks in or out depending. So if I'm doing the register at the moment, what I could actually do is if Harry is not here today, I take that tick out of that box and his tick then disappears. So his data, when it's collected, well, it won't be collected because he's not here, but it won't be taken into consideration when the graphs and charts are then produced. So it's like taking a register almost foremost, you put the tick in the box if they're here, and you take the tick out if they're not here.
We all know now at the moment that you know, time is precious.
Yes.
Do you have to go through this system every time you want to set up a class comm?
No. Once you've set it up once, as you can see, there's a save as default setting here. So I can just hit that button, and that then remembers all those settings that I've made on there. And so every time I go back into it, it will say, oh, I know how you want to present this. It saves me a bit of time. Yeah,
because if you tend to work with the same format
yes,
day in, day out, it's just saving you that valuable time that you can use somewhere else.
Yes, exactly, yeah. We've also built lots of games in, so if I drop the menu down for the select game here, you can see we've now got 5 different games that we can choose in here, so we've got a bit of variety. We'll choose the balloon race game. So at this point I'm ready to go ahead and present, so I go to the button that says present activity and click on that, and it gives me a last chance just to check that all the students that I've marked at present at the moment are actually there, and then I press continue. So now it goes into PowerPoint, picks up my set of slides, and it presents the first slide to me, which is a true or false question that I'm asking for this particular one, because remember we've got a whole variety of different ways of asking questions. Now at this point, until I press the green button on the teacher handset, nobody can actually respond to that question.
Oh right, because it is a natural thing, isn't it? If you've got something on your desk, you do have this urge to just touch the buttons.
Yeah, and we don't want somebody always trying to be first, just, you know, try and be clever. We want to give everybody an equal chance. So, you know, you hold your horses until I'm ready, and then I'll press the green button, and then you can go.
Which I suppose is great as well for anybody who has a special need where maybe it's going to take them slightly longer to read.
That's right.
It doesn't penalise somebody because they can't read as fast or respond as fast.
We want to create a level playing field to give everybody the opportunity to answer. So now I'm going to press the green button on the teacher handset, and that allows everybody now to respond using their handset. Remember, this is a radio system, so it doesn't matter where they're sat in the classroom, it doesn't matter where the receiver is, it's going to pick it up from anywhere within a 500-metre range. So everybody's now responding, and you can see down here the responses are being picked up because the numbers are changing colour on here. So I can see this is telling me that 8 handsets are currently switched on and 6 handsets have currently answered. So there's 2 that I haven't. So I'll answer with this one as well, and then we've got everybody's now answered the question there. So what I can now do as a teacher is I can then press the red button to say, right, voting has now ended, you've no more responses from anybody, and I can now choose where I go next from here. I've got various options. First option is to choose the graph button on the teacher handset.
And that's very easily recognisable, isn't it? It does what it says on the tin.
Yeah,
it looks like
it's
a graph.
It's a picture of a graph, so we can't really go wrong there. Press that, and that brings up this graph which shows me how many people said true and how many people said false. So straight away that's giving me information as a teacher. Ah, we're on the right lines or we're way off here. I need to go back and do some reinforcement. So it's giving me that formative assessment, as we call it. But I've got various other things I can see at this point as well. By using the single arrow key, forward arrow key on the teacher handset here, I can see that as a pie chart that way. And if I want to, I can actually see what each person has given me as an answer. Now that may or may not be appropriate, of course, at this point. It might be that I don't want to show that information in front of my class, or it might be that I do because I want to see who's actually said what at this point.
So that is something that you can actually, as you say, either display to the students or keep it for your own information and something to work on later.
Yeah, something that I want to just look at myself later on if I wish to. So I've got all that information straight to hand. If I press the graph button again, it just takes me out of that little wizard there. So that's one way I can go. I can press the question mark button on the teacher handset, which will display the correct answer at the top of the screen. So if I want to tell you what the right answer is at this point, I can do so. And then press this button again to take that away. So that's the second option I've got. And the third option I've got is to press the play button at this point, and that enables the game. All right? So this will tell me who was the first person to answer correctly.
Right.
And we can see it's handset number 7.